Michelle. Thanks for clicking on my video. I came in today to talk about this comment that the game made about the whole Emily B and Fabulous situation. He calls it the breakdown of the black family. I don't know if y'all saw the Instagram post that he made about this whole situation. Y'all, it was ridiculous. He said, another black family torn apart over social media, and look at everyone's so happy to see them in shambles. Forget how all this plays out for their two young boys going forward, or their daughter whose father figure was just plucked from the family picture by culture vultures. Sad to see what the internet does to people's sense of reality. And he basically says we're all guilty of something. Y'all, the internet lit him up. And he had to come back and say, I never said that physical abuse was okay. And as expected, 90% of the comments missed my point, which was totally about the welfare of the children and our actions as gasoline on an already burning fire, just like all the people cheering for China to lose custody of her daughter, blah, blah, blah. Y'all, I didn't come on and talk about the whole Emily B and Fabulous thing. And it was because I have been in an abusive relationship myself before when I was younger. I actually did a video about it. So when you hear about another woman going through it and you've been through it before, it takes you back. And I knew eventually that I would talk about it, but at the time it happened, I was like, oh my God. So y'all know that apparently he punched her in her face 7 times, knocking out her front teeth. And from, the reports, this is not the first time he has hit this girl. This is not the first time he has abused her. And then when I came in today and read what the game said, the breakdown of the black family, no. People talking about it on the internet, talking about it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, that's not breaking down the black family. It's when this black man, this particular black man by the name of Fabulous, put his hands on this woman and knocked her teeth out, and she called her family in to help her and all hell broke loose. That's what the breakdown of the American family is. When a man decides to do that, when I was raising my son, y'all, I always taught him to be a man and walk away. I explained to him that you're going to have situations, that there are going to be women out there that do try you. But you as a man are stronger than the average woman. And you could think you're just hitting her or pushing her. She could fall, hit her head, and it could be lights out permanently for her. And you could be on your way to jail for domestic violence. And I told him that over and over again, explained to him about, what it feels like to be abused as a woman, asked him what he thought of his mom going through that, and explained to him that he never wanted to take a woman through that. I also even told him that if there was ever an occasion that a girl came to me and told me that my son had put his hands on her, I would just be too through with him. No matter what the situation was, I told him that if he put his hands on her, that I would be on the girl's side, even though he's my son. And I didn't care what happened. I would be on her side. So when the game said this, and as I always do, y'all, when I read what he had said, I read the comments under it. And a lot of men were co-signing what he said. Y'all, when I think about that, a lot of those men are fathers of daughters. Would they want their daughter to be beat down by some man, you know, knock her teeth out, you know, and then have everybody tell his daughter that she's stupid and this and that and blame her? You know how a lot of people are victim blaming this girl, you know? Now, they say that she's been with him for several years. They have several kids and all of that, and she should have left him a long time ago, which we all agree is true. But that does not excuse what this man, this one black man, did to this woman. We're not talking about other situations. We're talking about this situation. And for the game to say that, that shows who he is as a person. For you to think that someone commenting on a situation, people on social media commenting on it, is what broke their family. You got to be kind of messed up yourself. And makes me wonder about him. Does he put his hand on women? Because y'all, there is no fight. I remember when my son was about 13, 14, 15, and he was starting to get that strength that teenage boys get. You know how they transition from being, a little young boy to now they're teenagers. And he could carry 8, 9 bags of groceries into the house at one time. I'm exaggerating. But you know how they would grab up three in one hand and 3 in the other. And you're like, this boy is slinging bags. And I realized that my child at 13 and 14 was stronger than me. If he was violent and he wanted to whoop his mom up, he could have whooped my ass at 13, 14, and 15 because he was stronger than me. And that was just as a teenager. It has nothing to do with him being a man now. Now that he's a man, today is actually his birthday. He just turned 31 today. I just don't agree with a man whooping up on no woman. I remember the first time that I ever was hit. I was in shock, y'all, that the man that I loved had put his hands on me. The very first time it happened, I was so shocked, y'all, that I almost was paralyzed. And then the fear of him after that. It was scary to know that someone you love could get so angry at you that they could hit you and hurt you. Well, it went on for about 8 or 9 months. Now, towards about the 6th or 7th month, I said, you know what? I got to get away from him. I lived in another city away from where my family was. Y'all, I remember that I was young. I didn't have a lot of money. I was very, very young, y'all. And what I did is, as I got paid, I wanted to have money in the house. I had a bank account, but I figured if I had to try to get away, then that meant that I would have to go to the bank or try to get to an ATM machine and get money to get away. So what I did is I started stacking a part of my paycheck in a cabinet above the refrigerator. You know how you have those little cabinets that you really don't use because they're above the fridge and it's hard to get to them? Well, when he would go to work, I would take 15 here, 20 there, put it aside, put it up there. And then I said, this is for if something happens and I need to snatch my baby up and get the hell up out of here. Well, there was an occasion that something happened. And I decided that day this was it. All day long, I was being nice, acting like nothing, nothing was happening. But all day, I was planning that as soon as he went to work, that I was going to get my baby, call a cab, and make it to the Greyhound bus station. Because at the time, I did not drive. I didn't own a car. We owned a car as a couple, but he took it when he went to work. So when I knew He was at work. I grabbed up a few clothes, and I do mean a few, just enough to put in a backpack. I called a cab and I went to the bus station and I took my ass home, told my mother and my brother, and then after I told my brother, it was over, because my brother was so outraged because he is not a man that hits women, that he wanted to bend this guy up like a pretzel. I don't understand when in situations like this that there are some people that actually blame the woman. Yes, I understand the thing where people say she should just leave. I think with some women there is the issue of the battered women syndrome. They, for some reason, can't leave or won't leave. We all understand that. Doctors have talked about it. It is a common known thing now. Now, I wasn't a woman that allowed it to go on for year after year. About 8 months into it, it was a wrap for me, because I had never been hit before, and it was such a shock to me. And then the fear of him, and then after he had hit me, after that, it seemed like he was terrorizing me. There was always the threat of violence, and it shook up my young world. So like I said, I packed my shit when he went to work. And y'all, when I tell y'all I went home, now when I left, he abandoned the apartment. He left the apartment that we lived in. And I guess, I didn't pay the rent the next month because I was back home with my mother. And y'all, there was an occasion where my brother was like, well, okay, we're going to drive down there. We're going to get your stuff and bring it back. Y'all, when I got to the apartment, it was cleaned out. There was nothing there. I guess what happened is, once the leasing office realized that we were no longer living there, neither one of us, because y'all know I had packed my shit and left, they, I guess, set all of our stuff out, So I lost everything. I mean, all I had were the clothes that I had packed in a backpack for me and my son. But when I walked away that day with nothing, I said, at least I'm leaving with not going through physical abuse again, not being terrorized. Because once a man has hit you, and like I said, you are afraid of him, he uses that against you. And the threat of him doing something to you could just, it has you shaking. And I don't respect other men who almost condone it or blame the woman. I don't respect a man. First of all, I don't respect a man that beats on women, and I don't respect other men who condone it, co-sign it, excuse it, or have an excuse for it. Well, she should have shut her mouth. I just don't understand why people think, well, some people think it's okay. They'll say, well, she was running her mouth. I have friends that are raising sons now, and they are literally telling their sons that if a woman hits you, or she says something, or if it get out of pocket, I mean, you have the right to defend yourself. Now, I'm not saying if she running after him with a knife or a gun, or she's whooping off in his ass, that he don't need to keep her up off of him. But what I'm saying is that physical abuse, I cannot believe that my friend is telling her son, that it is okay to hit a woman if she hits him. Now, I don't mean if she busts him in the head with a bat, splits his skull, or picks up a chair and breaks a bone in his body, that he should not defend himself in a case like that where she's fucking him up. But normally, that's not what it is, y'all. It's a man terrorizing a woman. And for that, I don't agree with these comments that the game made. And also, when social media got wind of what he said, they tore his ass up, as they should have. And in that second comment that he made, that second post, he was backpedaling because he knew, or he then realized, that what he said, a lot of people weren't feeling. There were men on there saying, no, this is not right. A man, now these are men saying it, not women. Men were saying a real man does not hit women. One guy said that he could not do to another woman what he wouldn't want someone to do to his daughter. He said that he couldn't picture someone beating on his daughter, so he could never do that to a woman. And that's what it is, y'all. We got some men out here that are fucking women up. I was just in a live video, where there was one of my fellow YouTubers discussing this very topic, and there were so many women in there that were admitting that they had been abused, that she decided that she was going to do, I guess, a series of videos where women, come in and talk about what they've gone through. One lady talked about being married to a police officer and how bad he abused her, and how it was so bad that to get away from him, she moved to another state. She basically did what I did. She stacked her money, and when she saw her chance, she moved to another state. See, that's what it is, y'all. This is not a game. When you are hitting a woman to the point where you are knocking out her teeth, you need to be in jail. There's no excuse for that. Yeah, he's sorry now. Yeah, he's sorry now because it's out what he did, and he's in trouble now. That's why he's sorry. Y'all, I can't talk about this subject. I have a daughter myself, and I pray that she never experiences that fear. I pray that the man she eventually falls in love with and marries her is a good man, a man that does not beat on women. I don't know if my heart could take my daughter, the thought of my daughter being abused. Y'all, it would just kill me to know that she's somewhere terrified because some man is beating on her. Y'all, let me know what you think down in the comments. Did you see the comment that the gang posted on Instagram? And if so, what do you think of it? And if you are a fella and you're watching the video, tell me what you think about what the game said, especially if you are a fella with a daughter. Picture your daughter somewhere on the floor, after some man done punched her in the face, all over her body, and knocked her fucking teeth out. How would you feel if you showed up to the house and you saw your daughter bloody and in that condition? Put it down in the comments. As always, y'all, thank you for watching my video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a safe evening. Bye-bye now.